All right, so Dr. Joe, again, let's talk about your professional career and life.
Yeah.
Did this suspension and allegation, did it in any way affected or impacted on your professional life?
Of course, it has impacted on my professional life because it's been a setback, a serious setback. Because if I had not been unlawfully, wrongfully, illegally suspended and didn't serve out my tenure, if I had been allowed to implement half of what I wanted to do at Nsitf, believe you me, if I'm invited to serve at the United Nations, it won't be a misplacement at all. It won't be, look at Adeshina, who served as Minister of Agriculture from here straight to AU, African Development Bank. Look at Arumote. She was here as something SEC. She moved from here. If I had been allowed to serve out my term, and if I had implemented all the programs I had for NSITF, I am sure, very confident that I would have been operating at the international. I could have gone to the World Bank. I could have gone to AU. I could have gone to, the list would have been ECOWAS, because it was very clear in my mind what to do and how to go about doing them, for posterity and for effective development of our economy. Look, whatever I say, you can go and verify. Even staff of NSITF, those of them that are still there, some have left, will tell you that I was the best managing director NSITF ever had. To start with, when I arrived at NS, let me give you one clear example. I arrived at NSITF. In those days, they will buy all the newspapers and international magazines and pile up on your table. And this was costing over 100,000 a month. Okay, so I said to them, I have not come here to read newspapers. Who are these newspapers for? So I stopped the newspaper expenditure. I said, every head of department should be entitled to one newspaper a day. And then you swap. If this person has this day, then after reading it, you collect a Tribune or Sun from another person and all that. And that should be enough. I didn't realize that I was stepping on toes, people who were benefiting from that. All right? Okay. So that was my first, if you like, shock that people would resist, rationalization of expenditure like that. There's another thing. Every office, they still have this today. Every office has television. You come to an office, they're watching Nigerian something. What do you call these things? Nigerian film, African,
Nollywood.
Nollywood.
Yeah.
And I say, excuse me, why do we have all these TVs in the offices? Put TV in the staff common room. When people are on break, they go there and watch TV. Put one in the reception for people waiting to see officers. That was a problem. I didn't know that, again, I was affecting people's idiosyncrasies and all that. Okay. Today, they still have TVs everywhere, but if I had stayed long enough in NSITF, that would have been a thing of the past. Nobody would be dreaming of that. Then I was the first person to introduce the ICT skills and competencies. Every staff must have a laptop. Yes, sponsored by the organization. To prepare them for, if you like, digital economy that is still unfolding, so that everybody will be able to communicate online and all that. I did that. So and so forth, honestly. Then publications. They were not publishing anything. While within less than 2 years I was there, I came out with several publications on social security. Because I said, first I set up publication, research and publications department. It didn't exist before me. Because I said, whatever we do should be a model, and we should publish it. We will even make money from that. But above all, we shall be disseminating, knowledge and information that
on social security.
exactly on social security. So all these publications, you know, were put out during my tenure. And of course, I convened the first national conference and subsequently established the National Working Committee on Social Security with General Gowan as chairman. And General Gowan has been a personal friend all these years. And he accepted to chair this National Working Committee on Social Security. Where is the report of this working committee to reposition or position Social Security for Nigerians? The report is there somewhere, if they still have it, on a pile in one office or the other. So we had so much to do that we are stunted, blunted by Ngozi Olejeme and the people she used. Yeah, very sad.
Doctor, let's bring this back to you again. Looking at the petitioners in this case, they're tagged faceless petitioners. Now, what happened after then? Did the police go after the petitioners? Were they arrested? What? Then again, one would want to ask, if a person like Ngozi Olejeme could have such an influence to be able to take out a sitting MD and CEO of Nsitf, what then is the future of Nsitf? Looking at the generality of it and its structures, is it to say at this point in time that Nsitf in itself does not have an operational, as it stands right now? Can what has happened then, can it still be replicated now? Can it happen now? Because right now we don't even hear much of developmental strides by the Nsitf. So I need to look at this and let's do a comparison of then and now. That action then and now. Let's start from there. Then looking at the police could investigate you, but we've not heard returns of police or the information of police investigating the faceless petitioners. So let's get you talk to us from this angle.
Good, thank you very much. First, starting with Olejeme. Olejeme didn't just want to get rid of me. She was on a mission to loot the place, and she did. She knew that there was no way she was going to do it under my charge, under my watch. It was impossible, because I made it clear to her that I did not apply for the job, and I had a very good career in London before I came back here. So she could never, ever get me to do anything untoward, anything illegal. So she had to get rid of me. And having gotten rid of me, she set on, if you like, total exploitation and looting of Nsitf, which was all in the papers. Billions of naira she looted. At some point it was reported that she and her cohorts had houses everywhere in Nigeria, up to 40-something houses. What you would do with that number, only God knows. Anyways, but she was subsequently, after Jonathan's tenure ended, she was arrested and prosecuted. But sadly, in fact, I went to court. I offered to testify as a prosecution witness, but they said, that I was
It's
no use.
malicious persecution.
No. They said that I didn't engage in any transaction with her. You know, that had I done that, then I would have been useful to them. But I was in court. I saw her sitting in the dock, covering her face like whatever she was. Anyways, so they charged her, prosecuted her, and we were waiting for her to be sentenced to a good number of years in prison, only to hear that she has bought her way into, some,
Plea bargaining.
no, plea back. Well, she had joined APC. There was a time, I think, was it Adam Soshimole or somebody was quoted as saying that if you join APC, all your sins are forgiven. That was in the national, domain. Everybody had that. So she joined the APC, and her sins have been forgiven. But at least EFCC recovered a whole lot of her loot, I believe, and that was when they took her to court. Now, then the faceless individuals, the whole thing was orchestrated. The petition was submitted by an organization that didn't even exist, by names that never worked for Nsitf at the time and in the past. Were they investigated? Certainly not to my knowledge, because why would they be investigated if they were, if you like, procured by Olejeme, who was supreme and all-powerful woman at the time? In fact, Olejeme was alleged to be in control of the police gentleman, one Anthony Obizi from Ogoja. Anthony Obizi or something. Mike Obizi was the assistant commissioner of police at the time. He was the person Olejeme used, to investigate the case. But still, he couldn't find anything against me, the Obizi guy. So to answer your question, I don't think any of those faceless individuals were prosecuted at all. We are in Nigeria. We know how the judiciary is unbelievably corrupt now. Even my case, when it went to court, do you know that Nsitf was paying the lawyers defending Nsitf over 200 million, more than my claim? Yes. And they were sustained, encouraged to continue appealing, prolonging the case and all that, so that they will continue collecting their money. So in terms of investigation, who investigates who in Nigeria today, if not just to collect money from both sides, if it's, with whatever they can collect. So now, whether this kind of thing could still happen or is still happening, your guess is as good as mine. Oh yes, because what will stop it, when the entire system is convoluted, So it's a very, very sad story. We've lost the judiciary, the police, excuse me, don't have anything to do with Nigerian police if you care,
Doctor, just as we begin to wrap up right now, let's talk about Africans and Nigerians in diaspora when they return back home. Use the case of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and yourself sitting down here. Can we say that this is a case of victimization for Nigerian and diaspora returnees as it stands right now? Perhaps because they are trying to change a system, so they get victimized, or they just want to be kicked out of the system? Or what can you say about these issues of Nigerians that have returned back to the country, trying to make things work, and they are being attacked even by their own? Should there be a yardstick by the government, or shouldn't there be a yardstick by the government to ensure that Nigerians returnees from the diaspora get protected, and also their policies get their policy statement gets upholded or some form? But let's get you talk. You're the professional in this field.
My dear, it's a big question. because you can't make special rules for Nigerians in diaspora. You can't run two parallel systems. If the system is good, anybody will have to work within it. But if the system is rotten, then the innocent people will suffer the most, especially people coming from diaspora. One, people from diaspora have been exposed. Some of them studied abroad. All their working life has been in, established systems and legal, environments and all that. And then they come back with skills and knowledge and come back with passion to make a contribution. Then they come home. Now, there are people in the system who have been waiting to become directors and all that, and they see you trying to cut out privileges. They say, no, not here. You can't operate here, because they've been waiting for their turn to exploit the system, to benefit from the system, and you are coming to stop them, so they work against you straight away, So it's a difficult situation to really, if you like, explain, you see. But the important thing, the diaspora people coming, in fact, if there should be a platform, which I try to create, where they will be inducted, exposed to what they will be facing once they are back and employed in the system, then they'll be better prepared.
You mean the victimization syndrome?
Yes. They'll be better, they will know that they'll be attacked from within and from without by people who feel that, these people, you've been living well there, and now you are coming back to stop us from benefiting. So if they are prepared, that they are going to be facing scenarios like that, they won't be in as much shock as per my own experience, because I didn't for 1 minute expect that people would want to stop me from my declared intentions, and I had no interest. Look, what can I say? I've talked about newspaper that they were piling up, and I said, no, I don't need all that. The car I was using as chairman, they wanted to buy me a brand new car when I became MD. I said, no, I still have this car, chairman's car. I will continue using it. But an average Nigerian homegrown would say, of course, this car belonged to when I was chairman. Buy me another one.
Next level car.
Oh, yes. And then think about this. The car even they bought eventually for the position. There was a choice between leather upholstery and cloth. What did I go for? Cloth. Because of the price difference. And that's the mentality you come with from diaspora. And then the people here, of course, none of them, if given a choice of leather upholstery, tear leather, and what do you call it? Cloth. None of them will choose cloth, but I did. I chose cloth because it was cheaper. Then this business of posting everybody's photo, president, minister, this, I said, excuse me, is it for people to know? They already know who you are. Why must you put your photo everywhere? And if you know how much those things cost, money wasted left, right, and center, So you come back with this mentality to stop some of these excesses. You are wasting your time, because those photographs are produced in connivance with staff. It's a contract. The newspaper is a contract. You buy a vehicle, it's a contract. Anything you do is a contract for some people. You see.
This is quite deep.
Yeah. As I said, if I write my memoir about Nigerian public service, it will make an interesting reading. But,
all right, Doctor, just on the last notes before we let you go, are there measures, let's talk recommendations right now, are there measures that can be taken by the government in order to prevent abuse of power and unfair treatment, especially to people that have been, just like your case? Should, what recommendations can you give to the government at this point?
Huh. It's difficult to advise Nigerian government.
At least we can profile, we can profile some.
Oh, God. Well, you see, I don't know, to be honest. You see, let me give you an example. Steve Orosanya, I knew him during Obasanjo days. In fact, Obasanjo, I must say it loud and clear, he is the best president this country has ever had. Very patriotic, very, non-tribalistic, and very forward-looking and all that. He meant so well for this country. But it's a long story. And even some people will say, but how about the third term? There was a reason for the third term. I won't go into that, But Obasanjo commissioned Orosanya report. That Orosanya report, has it been implemented? No. Even this government is saying something about implementing it, but they are doing it selectively. If you are to implement Orosanya report, billions will be saved for this government, and that money could go into social protection, into infrastructure development, into a whole lot of things. In Orosanya report, in fact, I should mention this. This NIMSI, an organization set up to just issue ID cards. If you know how much they are allocated every year, you cringe. And while I was MD of Nsitf, I started negotiation. I did a memo to government that NIMSI and Nsitf should merge, because in other climes, social security numbers are issued to every individual. And that's what this agency is doing, nothing more. And for that, billions is spent. So I said, if they can be merged with Nsitf, never mind that I was MD, I won't be MD forever, but the economy of scale there was evident, was very clear. But were they interested? No. Of course, people at NIMSI will do everything to fight you. There are people, the National Assembly members who are supposed to be overseeing or oversighting NIMSI will fight you. Excuse me, So where do we go from here? Where we go from here is that the president, whosoever is president of this country, must start with himself. Leadership by example. Because when you lead by example, then it will be easy for you to discipline anybody, ministers and executives who misbehave or who abuse their positions. But if you don't start with yourself, it's a waste of time. It will be business as usual. So I'm sorry, I can't help you with that question, other than to say that.
Doctor, there are a lot of things to discuss with you
Honestly,
today. A lot of things I wish we can talk if we have more time, but time is fast spent. I've been signaled right now by my producer that we really need to go. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of Signature Morning today, Dr. Enukora Joe Okoli. It's a privilege having you on the show today.
Thank you.
And hope when next we need you on the show, you'll be available for us.
Thank you very much. I must commend the good work the media are doing in this country, okay? And the media should remain the conscience of the people. You should not relent in pursuing the truth. Truth, somebody sent me a congratulatory message saying, truth is like a lion. You let it out, it will defend itself anytime, anywhere. So please, you, the media houses of this country, you have to keep trying in spite of all threats and intimidation, and that's one thing that can help this country a great deal. Thank you.
Doctor, we'll keep trying. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go today on Signature Morning. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll return you back to our Enugu office for more updates on Signature Morning. I remain Godwin Sunday.